What is going on, guys? Thank you so very much for joining me right here on Off the Script. I got a little bit of extra for you. It is June 29th, 2022. I am JD from New York, as always, coming to you from the OTS venue. Thank you guys so very much for joining me on your Wednesday afternoon, wherever you may be. You guys wanted official confirmation on Sasha Banks being released? Well, I got it, man. I got it. But why hasn't WWE made an official statement on the release of Sasha Banks? One very, very important reason, and we'll go over that today on OTS. Also, Jon Moxley, what is his status for tonight's Blood and Guts match on AEW Dynamite after insinuating that he may have a concussion after his world title match with Hiroshi Tanahashi at Forbidden Door? I got news on John Cena and the backstage reaction to him joining WWE once again this summer on the road to SummerSlam. And Dana Brooke in a very bad car accident. What is her status and how is she doing after a scary situation on Monday? All this plus so much more right here on OTS Extra. Follow me on social media at JDfromNY206. That's Twitter and Instagram. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on the bell for all notifications. Make sure you guys go check out all of the other content that I've uploaded in the past couple of days, especially the content while I was live in Chicago. We were there for Forbidden Door, the post-show scrum, the Forbidden Door post-show review, Monday Night Raw. It is all on the homepage right now. Make sure you guys go and check that out if you missed any of the content from the channel and from OTS. Make sure you guys hit that thumbs up. 1,000 likes minimum on today's OTS Extra. And today's show is sponsored by my great friends over at Manscaped, manscaped.com. You guys are going to use that code SCRIPT20 at checkout to save 20% off and get free shipping in regards to their Platinum Package 4.0. Manscaped is going to get you guys ready for the summer, and I want you to save some money while doing so, man. Manscaped.com, code SCRIPT20 at checkout. We'll talk about my friends over at Manscaped a little bit later on in the show. Let's start with John Cena. Man. We'll start soft with John Cena. John Cena was on Monday Night Raw, and he came back. He didn't really say much of anything. There was a tease there with Austin Theory and a potential match going into SummerSlam between those two. Not really a big fan of it, but WWE seemingly thinks that this is going to get Austin Theory to the next level. I don't think so. But John Cena came back on Monday Night Raw, and the backstage reaction for John Cena returning to the WWE, according to WrestleVotes, is this. Aside from the obvious business boost, I'm told the return of John Cena is as exciting for the locker room as it is for the fans. Cena is viewed as the ultimate leader with his positive presence felt throughout the company when he is around. Now, the belief of John Cena's return, like I said, is to set up a match between Cena and Austin Theory at SummerSlam in Nashville, Tennessee. Theory first threw out the idea of his match a few months ago with John Cena on social media. Since then, both stars have teased the match going back and forth on Twitter. Cena last wrestled TV at SummerSlam last year, where he lost to Roman Reigns, being contested over the Universal Championship in the main event of SummerSlam. One of the more disappointing matches that Roman Reigns has had in his title run thus far. As of this writing, Cena is not advertised for any other WWE events, but that is likely to change after his appearance this past Monday on Raw. 20 years, man, 20 years. John Cena, to me, in my honest opinion, I said this on Monday, if you guys want to go and tell me that you think John Cena is one of the greatest of all time or the greatest of all time, he's on Mount Rushmore for greatest of all time, I would not hesitate and question you in that regard at all. In my honest opinion, I think John Cena has been the most influential person in the industry ever for WWE. Greater than Austin, greater than Hogan, greater than The Rock. I don't mean that as far as ratings are concerned. I mean that in a way where he does all this extra behind the scenes PR. That's what I mean for John Cena. As far as an aspect of John Cena being the most influential business aspect of WWE, that is number one, John Cena. I'm glad he's back. I appreciate John Cena more now than I've ever appreciated John Cena. But I'm not really interested in an Austin Theory match. I said this once. I'm going to say it again. In fact, if Austin Theory is still the United States champion going into SummerSlam, I would have John Cena take the United States championship off of Austin Theory, and I would have John Cena use that platform to get others over that really need it. And I mean, let's do the United States Open Challenge again. Bring a Carmelo Hayes, get a Tony D'Angelo up, get a Braun Breaker up, get a Cameron Grimes up, get a Santos Escobar up on Monday Night Raw. This is your future. John Cena did it once before. John Cena obviously cares about the future. Otherwise, he wouldn't be back to work, Austin Theory. So why not go that extra length and that step further? I don't get it. The only thing that would be holding him back is his TV time, or rather his movie time, his extra curricular shit, and getting him away from Hollywood. That's the only thing that would keep him away from actually fulfilling what I think this is a great idea. So more than likely, WWE is looking at it in a way where they think Austin Theory is going to be put over by John Cena. When he beats John Cena at SummerSlam, he moves up the corporate ladder in WWE. I don't really care about that. I don't. And the reason why I say, well, JD, you're speaking in ways where you're going against everything you really believe in, having the 45-year-old John Cena beat the youngster, the 24-year-old in Austin Theory. I get it. I get it. But do you trust WWE to follow up with Austin Theory after he beats John Cena? What does WWE do with Austin Theory after he beats John Cena? Does he go right back to feuding with Ali? Does he go right back to feuding with T-Bar or whoever the fuck they're going to feud him with? If he beats someone like John Cena or the caliber of John Cena, he should be moved up into the main event scene immediately. That goes to show you that they are very serious about pushing Austin Theory. Knowing WWE the way that I know them, that will not be happening. So what is the point? What is the point of him beating John Cena and then us sitting on it while he goes right back to beating mid-card guys that we obviously know he's better than? I don't like it. I don't like the match. I don't like the WWE creative mentality. I don't understand it. I wish John Cena was back for the long haul for at least a little bit, but after this match, seemingly he will be going right back to Hollywood, and John Cena will not be winning the United States Championship, and we will not be seeing a return of the United States Open Challenge, especially, and I say this because especially, WWE, I don't know what they're doing with the World Championships. Monday Night Raw desperately needs something at the top of the card in the main event. They got nothing. They got nothing. So I think it's time to start thinking about how we get either that World Championship back over on Monday Night Raw to give Monday Night Raw a main event feel again at the top, or John Cena and the United States Open Challenge can remedy that for at least a little bit before WWE makes a decision on what they want to do with the World Championship. Sasha Banks. Sasha Banks. Backstage news on Sasha Banks and Naomi and their status in WWE. Dave Meltzer reported last week, and we talked about this on the show, that Sasha Banks and her lawyers were still working on getting her release, but at the time of his reporting, the release had not been granted. Prior to that, there were reports from Wrestling Inc. and WrestleVotes that she had indeed been released. However, today, it was noted by PW Insider that both Banks and Naomi are still listed on the internal WWE roster, and there has been no change made to their status since they walked out of Monday Night Raw several weeks ago. PW Insider added that neither have been officially released. Banks and Naomi are also still listed on the WWE.com roster page. It is believed that Naomi's deal, and possibly Banks' deal as well, are due to expire soon. But since they are indefinitely suspended by the company, time could be added to their contracts. I don't think that is the case. WWE went to the lengths of suspending them on their own, so I don't think WWE is in the right to keep Sasha Banks and Naomi on the roster and add time to their existing contracts. They were the ones that went ahead and suspended them from television. Now, Raj got everybody's attention again last night with several tweets, as you see here on screen. Raj of Wrestling Inc. said this, and I quote, "Here's what I know about Sasha Banks. She was released on June 10th. And it came from Erica Schreiber, VP of Business and Legal Affairs for Talent Relations. As for why WWE has not said anything in regards to Banks, the rumor is that leadership is trying to smooth things out between them and Sasha Banks. Now, he did go on to say, additionally, that his sources would not be ousted in this situation. Everybody got on Raj again. Well, how could you oust your source there in Erica Schreiber? He worded it a little bit bizarre, and it came off as if he was told directly from Erica Schreiber that Sasha Banks was released. No, Raj would not do that. Raj would not put his name out there on the line, number one, if this was false, and he would not oust his source in this situation, seeing how big the story is between Sasha Banks and WWE. So, WWE here with the Sasha Banks situation, I don't know when it's going to come to an end. I don't know how it's going to result in WWE officially releasing Sasha Banks and what's going to happen after that. This is, and I said this time and time and time again, I do believe this to be the case. I do believe she's gone. Now, of course, WWE is trying to work things out between themselves and Sasha Banks. They don't want to lose Sasha Banks, knowing that she could end up in Tony Khan's hands and on AEW television sometime after the summer is over. I don't know if this is going to be with a 90-day non-compete attached. I would assume that if she got legal representation involved here to get her out of her contract, Mercedes is not dumb. She knows the 90-day non-compete clauses are fucking bullshit. Maybe she doesn't give a shit about the 90-day non-compete because she's not going to another promotion and instead giving up professional wrestling, which I don't believe, to go and do Hollywood. So who gives a shit if it's 90-day non-compete? Now, I don't know what she's thinking, but I know she knows that the 90-day non-compete is fucking bullshit. If she wanted to leave WWE, now is the greatest time to do so. Now is as good as any other time to leave WWE. If you go back to WWE now, if Sasha goes back to WWE, she is only proving them right. She's proving them right in every sense of the word. She's proving them right in their terrible fucking division right now with the women's division, the terrible state of the women's division. She's proving them right as far as the creative that they gave her, that she walked out on. She's proving them and their creative decisions to be right if you go back. Sasha Banks would prove to everybody that she's weak if she goes back. This is not the first dance for Sasha Banks walking out of the company. It happened once after WrestleMania 35. She went on sabbatical. She went to Japan. She regained that spark she loved for professional wrestling, working the Japanese strong style. She had a problem with creative then and how they handled the tag team championships. Now she has a problem with creative and how they handled her reign with Naomi as tag team champions. One strike, two strikes. You're going to go back and have the same thing happen again for strike three? Mercedes is not stupid. She sees the deterioration of the women's division. She sees how WWE corporate handles women's wrestling. John Laurinaitis was only a speck of the problem. His influence over that women's division, now that he's not there, is still going to be carried out in the form of Bruce Pritchard and Vince McMahon. John Laurinaitis was only a figurehead. He was only a puppet doing exactly what Vince wanted to do. John Laurinaitis only did what Bruce Pritchard wanted to do. He was only a figurehead, a spokesperson, a fucking fall guy. So with him being out of the equation, I don't want you guys to think, well, Sasha Banks may go back seeing that John Laurinaitis is now out of the picture. It's more than just John Laurinaitis. It's Bruce Pritchard and Vince McMahon and everybody else that Vince McMahon has assigned to his team of circus geeks. If Sasha Banks goes back, she's proving how weak she is and how right WWE was all along. Look at what we did. We held out, and you end up crawling right back to us anyway because you know we are the place that's going to make Sasha Banks into a bigger name. You don't want to go to the minor leagues over in AEW. Meanwhile, everybody that leaves WWE, you all watch Forbidden Door. You all watched how great Forbidden Door was. You don't think Sasha Banks wants to be a part of professional wrestling? Sasha Banks is not some fucking diva that's going to go out there and fucking model her looks in front of everybody. She's a beautiful woman regardless. She's a Hollywood-made star when her career is over. Sasha Banks is 30 years old. She's not even at the prime or in the prime or at the peak of her career. You don't think this woman wants to wrestle? You don't think this woman wants to wrestle, seeing what AEW and New Japan is doing collectively, what the world of professional wrestling is doing outside of WWE, coming together and joining forces. WWE wants to preach this then, now, forever, and together shit. Nobody's with WWE. They're not together with anybody. They live in their own fucking world. This woman wants to wrestle. She wants to wrestle. She wants to go out there and not only, and this is the last thing on her mind because she knows it's going to come to her anyway, she wants to go out there and not only make a name for herself and be an influential figure in this business. The one thing that Sasha Banks wants to do is help wrestling thrive and grow. Sasha Banks wants women's wrestling to grow and thrive, and she wants to be a part of the next generation of women to handle professional wrestling when she is no longer here, when she is incapable of doing it anymore, or she wants to walk away and go do something else. She wants to be around now to help when she is no longer going to be that influential figure. She wants to make it better. So you don't think this woman wants to go to an AEW or go somewhere else and continue the women's revolution somewhere else? She knows she's the figurehead of the women's revolution, her and Bayley and Paige and Tenille Dashwood, right? But you don't think Sasha Banks wants to do that somewhere else? Why would she ever want to stay with WWE knowing that she would never get that type of treatment in WWE, that they don't give a shit about women's wrestling? They're not going to let Sasha Banks do what Sasha Banks wants to do. I guarantee you, if you see Sasha Banks go somewhere else, you're going to see a completely different Mercedes. You're going to be like, where was this woman? This is a woman that was held in captivity in WWE. Now you're seeing the real fucking Mercedes Varnado come out and wrestle. This is the Mercedes that we all heard about that loves professional wrestling. This woman wants to help wrestling. She cannot do that in WWE. This woman wants to help wrestling grow. She cannot do that in WWE. This woman wants to wrestle. She can't do that in WWE because they will not let her. Their priorities are a lot different than what Sasha Banks' priorities are. Sasha Banks has everything else and then her as the priority. WWE has everybody else and then Sasha Banks as the priority. And on top of that, is not giving her the foundation to help the women in that locker room and help women's wrestling and help that women's division grow. Now is as good as time as any to leave. If you are granted your release, then leave. WWE is trying to smooth things over. Are they going to learn their lesson? Of course they're not. It happened once. It happened twice. If Sasha Banks goes back, it's going to happen for a third time. And I'm going to have to come on here and tell you again, I told you so. I just want her to be happy, and I want to see the real Mercedes come out, and I want the fans to experience the real Mercedes, and I want to see another women's revolution that is no longer going to happen in WWE under current management, happen somewhere else, with Mercedes once again leading the charge. Jon Moxley. Apparently, Jon Moxley said at the Forbidden Door post-show scrum, or at least alluded to at the Forbidden Door post-show scrum, that he had a concussion. So in the update on Wrestling Observer Monday, Dave Meltzer was told that Moxley has stated that he's fine after the post-show scrum and admitted that he probably shouldn't have said the line in referencing a possible concussion after his match with Hiroshi Tanahashi. Moxley was busted open shortly after performing a sling blade. Following the match, Moxley stated in a promo to the live fans, which I heard because I was there, that he may have suffered a concussion. It was also discussed on the live edition of Wrestling Observer with Brian Alvarez, and Alvarez stated, and I quote, "What actually happened was, and I probably should have known this because I think he did this somewhat similar promo after the Tom Lawler match, but he used the line before after bloody matches where he said, "I've lost a lot of blood. I may even be concussed." I guess it's part of his shtick, actually. But no, he does not have a concussion, and he is fine. Meltzer added, he does not have a concussion, and he's probably not going to use that line again because he realized if he doesn't have a concussion, then he probably shouldn't use the line because people will freak out over it. Everybody was freaking out over it because Jon Moxley is now the interim AEW champion. Jon Moxley will be on Dynamite tonight. Jon Moxley is a main aspect of the blood and guts match between the Blackpool Combat Club and the Jericho Appreciation Society in Blood and Guts on their version of War Games on Dynamite tonight. So he is definitely a major aspect, a major proponent of that match. And God forbid he adds his name to the injured list on AEW, which right now continues to grow and grow and grow. So thank God he is all right. He is the interim AEW champion, and he will be on Forbidden Door, Blood and Guts, rather, following Forbidden Door on AEW Dynamite tonight for that great match. I can't wait to see what happens on Dynamite tonight. Just a reminder, guys, make sure you guys go out and check out Manscaped, manscaped.com. Their Platinum Package 4.0 can be yours by using code SCRIPT20 at checkout at manscaped.com. Make sure you guys go and get the Platinum Package 4.0. It is the one-stop shop for the man who wants to take care of themselves this summer. You'll find the Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, the Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmer, the Ultra Premium Body Wash, the 2-in-1 shampoo conditioner, and Ultra Premium deodorant, as well as their Crop Preserver, Anti-Chafing Ball deodorant, and Crop Reviver. That's a ball toner spray. And they're even going to throw in some anti-chafing boxer briefs along with a beautiful Shed travel bag for all of your goodies, man. I use Manscaped every single day. The Shed travel bag comes with me everywhere. It came with me to Chicago on my trip to AEW Forbidden Door. Get 20% off and free shipping by using code SCRIPT20 at checkout. That is manscaped.com, code SCRIPT20, 20% off and free shipping for you guys today on Off the Script. It's time you enjoyed the finer things in life and get yourself a platinum package for your platinum package. That's manscaped.com. Forbidden Door. For all of the geeks out there that cried and cried and cried, there was no build, it was boring, the matches were just thrown together. It ended up being one of the highest rated AEW pay-per-views on a fan perspective on social media. Everybody walked away saying it was the show of the year. Everybody walked away saying it was the best in-ring show that AEW's ever put on. And Forbidden Door was such a huge success with a $1 million gate. And Tony Khan tweeted that it had a $5 million pay-per-view revenue stream. Khan tweeted, "Thank you to everyone, especially wrestling fans around the world, who made last Sunday's Forbidden Door event a hit, with more than $1 million in ticket sales and more than $5 million on pay-per-view. At $50 a pop, you're probably looking at 120,000, 130,000 pay-per-view buys. And that's just a rough estimation of what Tony Khan said in this tweet. So you're looking at 120,000, 130,000 pay-per-view buys, probably more on New Japan World, which I'm assuming they had access to this event as well. You're probably in the vicinity of maybe 150, 160. This was a tremendous success. And with everybody speaking so highly of it this year, you don't think, hey, it's going to happen again next year, and you don't think people are going to be more interested in it again next year. And with all the injuries hopefully not plaguing them next year, you don't think the card is going to be better next year. This was a huge success, and Tony Khan on Monday morning probably woke up completely justified in everything he did and the decision made to go along with this show. Awesome. It was awesome being there, and I can't wait to see what comes next for AEW. Going into tonight's Blood and Guts, going into All Out, Grand Slam was announced in New York City for September 21. They are trying to make another memorable summer for All Elite Wrestling. And finally, guys, we have Dana Brooke. Apparently, Dana Brooke was in a very, very bad car accident, so we're sending her our thoughts and prayers. I know Dana Brooke gets choked on a lot here, but this is a serious situation. WWE star Dana Brooke announced on social media that she was not at Raw last night because she was in a bad car accident this past week. Brooke noted she expects to be back in no time, so it sounds like she is thankfully not serious from this car accident. She tweeted, "Much love to the WWE Universe for the support, love, and standing up for me. The reason why I was not on Raw on Monday was because I got into a bad car accident this past week. I am doing good and will be back in no time. I really appreciate the love and couldn't ask for better fan support." End quote. Scary situation. We wish the best for Dana Brooke on a speedy recovery. And I hope that it's nothing serious where there is lingering effects coming out of this car accident. So Dana Brooke involved in a bad car accident. She will be back, she states, in no time and back on television with the 24/7 championship. Thoughts and prayers out to Dana Brooke. Guys, that is all I got for you. Let me know what you think of the Sasha Banks situation. What did you think of Forbidden Door? What do you think of the Jon Moxley situation? Are you excited for Blood and Guts tonight, live on AEW Dynamite? Sound off in the comments below. Speaking of Dynamite, I will be live with Jesse tonight. It is going to be incredible, man. Blood and Guts, we'll be talking about it. We'll be going over it, detailing everything that happened, the fallout from Forbidden Door, coming out of Chicago's Forbidden Door on Sunday. It should be awesome. Hit that thumbs up. We need 1,000 likes minimum on today's OTS Extra. Hit that subscribe button down below. Thank you guys for 134,000 subscribers plus on YouTube. Thank you for all of the fan support all weekend long. And follow me on social media for more up-to-date, in real-time thoughts on tonight's Dynamite and all of the latest breaking news right here on Off the Script. That's at JDfromNY206 on Twitter and Instagram. Thank you guys so much. I'll see you live tonight for AEW Dynamite on OTS. See you guys later.